And on Saturday, we saw Ronda Rousey lose to Amanda Nunes, UFC 207. Rousey, however, walked away $3 million richer.
More than that.
Yeah, more because of the pay-per-views. After the 48-second beatdown, Nunes only made $200,000. Ramona, okay with Ronda getting $3 million plus in that loss?
She has for the past several fights. Like they've only declared the purse here because it was in Las Vegas, but I'm sure she made the same amount in Australia and LA when she fought in those fights. And like when you're the headliner, when she defended her title 6 times in a row, she became the one of the biggest female athletes on the planet. Her and Serena Williams were like up there. And when Amanda Nunes has defended the belt, at that point she had only won one fight. She had only won the title once, and she's not the headliner yet. Is she going to drive 1 million pay-per-views on her own? If she was the headliner, would she get 1 million pay-per-views? Probably not.
Yeah, but
I think you're into this is now. If Ronda fought again, I don't know that she would.
But aren't we rewarding marketing over championship performance when you say that? Well, let's change.
You think we still talk about the Knicks?
Marcellus, when you started hosting this, did you get paid what you get paid now?
She all up in your business now.
Nah, I get a little more now.
Yeah.
Give us some numbers.
Okay. I'm eating over here, can't you tell? Let's say this, though. When you're a champion, there needs to be a clause built in that you can't get less than just the marketing brand or the face of the card.
She has no leverage in that negotiation because this isn't boxing. This is the UFC. That's Dana White, and he can
put that into the clauses. He just says, whoever has the belt, you can't make less than the person we're going to use just to draw all the attention. It should be comparable. So if it's only $4 million to go around, $2 million. No way should you get $200,000, but we're still saying the integrity is you're a better fighter.
She could have walked into any target near you and no one would know who Amanda Nunes was. And
now you will.
No, I still won't recognize
No, I know.
The fight was only 48 seconds. And I didn't even see her face. I saw Ronda's face more than I saw her face.
Amanda's going to get a lot more than $200,000 too. She gets a cut of that pay-per-view too.
Yeah. Well, going forward, I think
the real tragedy is that Ronda Rousey was considered on the same level as Serena Williams as a female champion. That's the real tragedy.
Or could box Layla Ali or Floyd.
Right.
Let's not go there.
Come on.
All right, next up, let's talk about women's college hoops. To start the second half of the Duke-Louisville game, Louisville tricked Duke into defending the wrong basket, leading to an easy bucket at the other end of the court. Oh, man. LZ, should we be praising Louisville or mocking Duke?
Listen, we need to mock everybody. We need to mock the players. We need to mock the coaches. If you look, the coaches didn't even know what was going on. We could even mock the announcers. It took the announcers a minute to figure out what happened because once they scored, the announcers kept acting as if it was business as usual. Didn't even notice until later what had just happened. So look, everything associated with this except for Louisville scoring needs to be mocked.
No, I think it should be praised. It doesn't have to be, praise doesn't have to be married to condemnation. You don't have to criticize because someone did something brilliant. Sometimes you just outsmarted someone else and they're not dumb. How many times have you really, after a halftime, looked and said, okay, which way is my team going after the half? It happens all the time. I sit there and watch games. I think they just got duped. They're not dumb for it. They just
Duke got duped?
Duke got duped. That's
the other thing, too, they had to practice that. Just think about it. You don't just do that. Like, you have to practice that. So the fact that the coach from Louisville thought ahead to practice that and then actually pulled it off in a game, I love it.
Yeah, next level. Well, coming up, I'm on a boat. In the last 24 hours, social media posts of Odell Beckham and Victor Cruz partying with likes of Justin Bieber, Trey Songz, and Johnny Manziel. Damn, they went all in. Have emerged, and there was this photo of Beckham and Cruz and other Giants. They're all out there enjoying their time on the boat, all ahead of the Giants' big playoff game in Green Bay this week. Coach Ben McAdoo dismissed the photos. Today, Odell said this quote: "We were going to Florida to get our minds right. That's what we were doing. Handle my business. I'm a grown man. Now we're about to make a run, about to make a push. It's go time." And you know what? I agree with Odell Beckham Jr. I agree with Coach Ben McAdoo, the greatest coaches of our sport. Let's talk about Bill Belichick, the greatest coaches of other sports. You talk about a John Wood. They all say one thing, and one thing in particular: do the same things that got you there. In big moments, don't try to do bigger things. Let the game come to you. So we're creatures of habit. We allow our routine to give us confidence. That's why we got to this place, and that's good enough to get you to where you want to go in terms of the goal of winning the Super Bowl. So when Odell does the same thing he does every other week, who are we to criticize a guy in that moment?
I'm not going to criticize him from doing it, but if the question is whether or not this is good optics, then it's absolutely no. It's not good optics. Not before a playoff game. You're already a 4.5-point underdog. You're going to play the hottest QB in the league. And oh, by the way, like Drew Hill and Jodeci made them like a mixtape together. That's not even like a really good photo. All of you in jeans and Timberlands. Who goes to Miami still wearing jeans and Timberlands? It's not 2000.
Don't you know you're not supposed to wear Timberlands on a boat? You're supposed to take your shoes off. They're going to fall off if there's a wave.
It just looks really, really uncomfortable.
My people wear jeans by the swimming pool, so you know you got to be careful.
I'm saying, though, and then, of course, I have a hard time correlating you a grown man and you hanging out with Justin Bieber. Only grown man I know hanging around Justin Bieber on the payroll.
There's like a Batman signal. Like whenever you're going to go out and party, it's like, throw it up there and Bieber's going to come running, right? Like it's Bieber and Johnny Manziel. Like, Bieber, come on, we're going out.
Right.
Like he sees it and he comes, because he's always in everybody's party pictures.
Yeah, but nothing says focus for the playoffs like having Johnny Manziel and Bieber.
But see, that's the problem. That's when perception becomes delusion because you start to say the optics. Look, you can study 20 hours of film. You can sit there and say, yes, sir, no, sir, wear war paint and go out there and get your butt kicked. I've seen that in sports before. So for us to go and say a guy is having some fun before a week, the same week that every
Marcellus.
week he goes and has his fun, what's the problem?
Here's the thing. I'm fine with them having fun.
Yeah, me
What
too.
I'm not okay with, it's not even not okay.
Hey,
you can't say Odell Beckham right before he goes, man, it seems like I'll get criticized if I.
Who that?
I mean, come on.
Who
now.
that?
You know who that is.
Oh, man.
That's me 30 pounds ago.
Look at all that.
What-
He got
what's
30
the
pounds of
top
cocoa
five
butter on right there. That's what that looks
But like, you pose for the picture. Like when you decide to pose for the picture, like you know that's gonna get out. In fact, you want it to get out. Like nobody's making. Like when I'm out and I don't want to be known to be out. Like don't take my picture. Right? I'm not gonna pose for the selfie. Like I don't.
But that's admitting guilt. That's an admission of guilt if you don't want to pose for it. These guys know that this is okay, so they don't mind the
It's about you
picture.
not wanting to hear this. You live in New York. You know what we're going to do, and now we're doing it.
So what happens when they win this same game and then everyone says, oh, you went out and partied? What happens?
Then you quiet. But if you go out and lose,
All right. Let's talk about the younger level. Let's talk about college football. And Lane Kiffin just can't stop talking about Alabama, even after he and Nick Saban mutually agreed to part ways. Really? Today on Mike and Mike, Kiffin said he was never forced out by Saban, saying he could have remained on the staff if he wanted. And Bama was looking to maybe have him in the press box during the game. Nick Saban was asked about that and had this response. That's not something we're interested in. Next quote. Ramona, does Kiffin just need to stop talking?
Yeah, when you have a story and you're trying to like make it stand up, like you just keep talking. And my husband always says, Ramona, just shut up. Stop talking. Less is more. The more you say, the more it makes people wonder why you're still talking. Because when I read Brett McMurphy's story on ESPN, that Lane, they left him when he was like he was so late, they left him. Yeah. There were multiple incidents where he was late during that week. Then you saw the footage of him on the sidelines where Nick and him were going at it. Like, there's clearly more to this story. I've heard there's even a little bit more. So like the more he's talking, the more it's fanning it. If I'm Lane, I just go down to Florida and move on.
I've heard there's a little bit more. I wonder if your little bit more is my little bit more.
Okay,
my little more is some juicy more.
Oh, well, that's a lot more if you combine them two little mores.
It's just mores all over the place.
Right.
But he just needs to shut up. You've already been banished, and yes, if you're an FAU, that's being banished. That's not, I'm taking a head coaching opportunity. You went from Alabama to like a school on the same level as FIU.
But wrong.
It sounds like a fashion mag. It sounds like a fashion school or something.
Ramona's correct. You're wrong. And talking about this is a box he needed to check. I don't care where it is. He needed to go to a program that says, I'm the face, I'm the leader, and I can be mature no matter where that program is.
He's paying his dues for the first time.
Thank you.
All the schools that were looking for coaches during this time, you end up at FAU.
And what's the problem with that?
Houston's looking for a coach, you end up at FAU.
He wins there in 2 years. He gets to pick what Power 5 school he gets to coach
looking for a coach. How you going to recruit? Who you going to? You beating Miami, Florida State. You beating all USF, UCF. You beating all these schools and getting recruits out of Florida to FAU.
The expectations are different there, so therefore he knows that he's going into a situation where he can show that, like, I'm paying my dues, and also I am a mature leader. But more than that, let's go back to Nick Saban. What Nick Saban is saying to him is, look, this is a death by 1,000 paper cuts. Every single incident is not big enough individually, but collectively, this is too much. It's like he opened up the box of mystique to what Alabama was. And Nick Saban runs a tight program. And then you got a guy who's on Twitter trolling. You got a guy who wears hater shades.
Stop that, though.
Right. He wears hater blocker shades. He shows up late. He shows up when he wants to. He clowns around, and I think just Nick Saban is sitting there saying, just too much, man, calm down.
But you know what? Nick Saban also needs to thank him because it was Lane Kiffin who opened up their offense to begin with and brought them to the new century.
Well, speaking of offense, let's talk about that Rose Bowl we saw last night.
Woo!
Yesterday, UFC gave us the most exciting game of the bowl season. They combined for 101 points, with USC scoring 17 points in a fourth quarter comeback win. Here's a look at some other fun stats. Check this out. Mona, check out these stats. We're talking about 101 combined points, most points in the quarter. We saw 7 straight possessions by Penn State end in touchdowns. Ramona, did the Rose Bowl game make you want a larger playoff field?
I've wanted a larger playoff field the whole time. Like, those two teams were the teams I wanted to see in the playoffs because those are the teams that were playing the best at the end of the year. Do we forget that USC beat Washington pretty handily?
Yeah.
Like, and I understand they lost early and they have 2 losses and you got to overcome that. But that's why you can even have a 6-team playoff and you can have those 2 teams battle it out with Washington and Ohio State, right? That's how you could play it. But because you're stuck with the 4, you're still in a position now where 1 loss is pretty much all you get.
But aren't you passing the buck? Like, aren't you diluting the field by now making the problem that we have currently for the number 5 team now become the problem for the number 9 team? So we're going to start looking at what's the objective criteria for you're a hot team. Oh, you won 7 in a row. Yeah, but you lost your first 4. Oh, but we won 7 in a row. We won the Beef O'Brady Bowl that doesn't even exist anymore. Oh my God, you know what? You're hot. You should be in the national championship game. No, you should not, because the way it goes is we make every single game count from late August all the way to December. That's the way it is, and that's the way it should be.
I mean, hands down, it was definitely the second most exciting bowl game so far.
Second? Well,
Cotton Bowl, Western Michigan versus Wisconsin.
Come on now.
That team that shouldn't have been there?
For Wisconsin. So
whatever.
No, I mean, it was an exciting game, but honestly, it was really the only game that was truly that exciting. Do I want to see an expanded field? Well, which other games would you want to see? We saw what happened with Ohio State. We saw what happened with Washington. Those aren't exciting games.
No.
I mean,
Florida State, Michigan was an exciting game, but I still think that there's a tier between what we saw in Alabama and Clemson and then what we're seeing everywhere else.
The question is, do you want to reward teams for getting better throughout the year? Like, do you want to give them credit for, but USC went from getting its butt kicked against Alabama in week 1 to now being the team that I think everybody would want to see play out.
And USC actually has a self-inflicted wound because they just started Sam Darnold at the beginning of the season. Then perhaps they might have been in a championship game. So that's kind of a self-inflicted wound.
Yep. Let's go to the Jeers right now. We got time for 3 of them. Let's go to the first one. Drew Holiday. Pelicans pass. Holiday misses the wide open.
Holiday. Don't celebrate.
All right. Ball took a holiday from that
Drew. I'm just going to let him pass.
Drew?
He's had a tough year, man.
Really? It's been bad on him? Yeah, the injuries and stuff.
I don't know.
Well, they'll bounce back. 2 Jeers for James Franklin. Franklin gets too excited about the 72-yard touchdown and punches his offensive coordinator to celebrate.
Didn't you have one of those guys that you played with? Like somebody who didn't know how to celebrate and hit you, and you're like, everybody run.
Always too physical. Right, HR for real. 3 Jeers for Doug McDermott. Dougie McBuckets for Orange. McDermott tries to backpedal and...
Is that a flop? Is that a pre-flop?
Pre-flop.
He's messing with Marcus Smart, bro.
Yeah.
He didn't even step on a shoelace.
It's time for Post of the Nation, presented by Toyota. Winners and losers time. LZ, you attended the Cotton Bowl yesterday, and your Uber driver thought you were 2 Chainz. LZ,
yes.
Honor, your Uber driver thought you were 2 Chainz.
Yes, I almost jumped out of the car because I quickly realized that he was blind and should not be behind the wheel of a car. I do not look anything like 2 Chainz.
I
was smoking on that weight. You don't look like him.
Oh, not at all.
I mean, the hair, but outside of that, you know, we all look alike, right?
It was like, you ain't 2 Chainz, is you? And I was like, is that?
Well, at least he posed it as a question. He didn't say you are 2 Chainz.
This is true.
He said, is you? Which you should never say.
I used to get Todd Gurley too, so at least that's enough.
You don't want me to Todd Gurley this year.
No.
Loser, simplicity. Yesterday, Western Michigan ran this elaborate trick play. I mean, elaborate. It only gained 5 yards. LZ, that's your team. Was that a good play?
Well, it was positive yardage, so it must have been a good play. Listen, that happened right in front of my seat, and everyone around us, we were cheering because it was like, oh, we doing something. Oh, we doing something. Oh, we doing. What are we doing?
You know what probably happened right before, too, is the players went to the coach, come on, we got to run the play. We got to run the play. They've probably been practicing that all year.
That's the problem. When you run into practice, you got to see how it works. But no guarantee of results. And right there.
I think I've actually seen that work before.
You talking about
edit a little bit here.
Y'all did a lot for a little. I ain't mad at you.
I'm proud of you, Broncos.
Winner. Appetizers. This Bloomin' Onion trolled Iowa after an incomplete pass. Because Florida won, everyone nationwide, everyone in the country can get a free Bloomin' Onion just by mentioning the Outback Bowl. Ramona, should the mascot be trolling anyone else?
Yes, own it. Like, if you're going to put that stupid costume on, you got to just own it and be it.
Yeah.
I can't disagree with you more. If you're wearing an onion outfit, you should just chill.
Yeah.
You should not be like trolling, clapping, mocking anybody because you're an onion.
Now, what we're bearing the lead, what we're mad at is the wrong team won, because if Iowa would have won, we could have got coconut shrimp.
We buried the lead.
I do sound like a
I
big fat
appreciate
boy.
people who put it to their
Come on, man. Coconut shrimp, winter surfing. This float with surfing dogs stole the show at the Rose Parade. All right, Elsie, hoping to see more dog surfing in 2017.
If you think if this stole the show, then the show wasn't very good to begin with.
Thank you. That is not dog surfing.
It's like Anchorman, where they're like, every time we put a pet on
There you go.
What are you talking about? There
Let the
we go.
cats go out there. See what the cats can do.
I thought we had a drought in LA.
They got better agility than dogs. The dogs weren't surfing. They just weren't falling off the surfboard. There's a huge difference. Now, if you put a cat out there, like Quincy, you're going to see what happens.
Look at Mighty Slim there, Marcellus. You on a diet? You on that sea bass diet like Kevin Love?
Just bad Photoshop. See you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, Mama's back.